Hi, and welcome to The Seat We Fill. It's my podcast about people, places, and the moments that shape us. My name's Adam Hardaker. I'm currently identifying as a writer. I'm always identifying as an Evertonian, Scouse, and someone who believes stories matter, whether they're told from a football seat, care setting, or a kitchen table. Not about hot takes or shouting aloud, it's about honesty, community, and conversations that actually mean something. So, wherever you're listening, stick out long, get comfy, and we'll get into it. Today, I'm meeting legends of podcast world from the number one Everton podcast, Blue Room.
Say so, yeah.
I'd say actually, do you know what? Let's say number one Merseyside football related podcast because you're clearly beating the other sides as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Can you tell?
Yeah, there's no good podcast that they do. I'm imagining they just whinge about everything. And trolley finds an enthusiast.
Yes. Basically,
I've
yeah.
seen a few of the on Instagram and little things.
Yeah,
Feral Trolleys.
that's one of the stranger ones, the Feral Trolleys. So just a quick word on that then, because everyone will know about the Blue Room anyway. But Feral Trolley started when so my dad lives on the Woodchurch estate, which is between a Sainsbury's and an Asda. And every time I was there, there'd always be a trolley in the road. And everywhere you go on this estate, there's always like one or two trolleys just scattered about, either from Asda or Sainsbury's, depends what end of the estate you're at. So we just started taking pictures of them because they were quite a bit weird. They just looked a bit odd. You just find them like tipped up and stuff like that. And then, yeah, a couple of years ago, I started the Instagram account for Feral Trolleys, and I'll get them from all over the world. People just send them in literally from everywhere. I've had them from like Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, and then from just like places in Britain as well. So America as well. Yeah, it's a bit of fun, really.
I like watching them, seeing them come through. They make me do the lights before. But yeah, Mr. Versatile himself on the Blue Room. I think you've got every episode that you do, and Les Roberts.
Yeah, I think I do pretty much every show I can on
I
there.
think you're just like the most versatile person in the podcast side. It's all like everything you do is like different subjects and
Yeah,
music, books, football, bags.
yeah. Whatever they ask me to do, I'll just do it. Yeah, no, it's things like this. So the old New Borough Blue, obviously that you did as well. I love doing stuff like that as well because it's
Yeah,
kind of one-to-one. Talking to people and getting stories, that's like a really good thing about it. Like people have said, why don't you get like some, ex-footballers on and stuff like that? And I'm not that into. I think we will do at some point.
yeah.
But I'm more interested in people's stories, just like not famous people, not people just the everyday stories, like yourself, like you're doing with this. I think where you just want to learn about people. I think that's way more interesting.
Well, I think it also, it's because the reason I'm doing this, and it's also publicising and promoting the positive side of Liverpool at the moment, and Merseyside, and trying to get rid of the hatred and go back to how the city should be and how the area should be. It's about that. But I think, ex-footballers, a lot of them don't have a lot to say anyway, as it's just the same stuff that they go on about a lot of the time.
That's it as well. And I think it's sort of now as they're getting, well, as they've all got media trained, you get less and less out of them anyway, don't you? I think once they become an ex-footballer, you might get a bit more. But while they're still footballers, they're very, very sort of like limited in what they can say and what they will say. Generally, so you get very non-committal stuff. So yeah, I don't.
Unless you're Jack Reelish calling people sausage online. It just made me laugh, to be fair. But no, generally, I love listening to your podcast. I've told you before, it's my drive to Manchester work. Always go on your podcast and you've got so much content out there. It's something different every day to have the different vibe and different feel, I think.
Yeah, no, I do appreciate that. Did you listen to the music one? It's a bit of a slog. It's 3.5 hours long, but it's got some good take for 80s albums.
Probably haven't, because I've been working from home the last 2 weeks. So if it's been in the last 2 weeks, I haven't.
Yeah, it was.
Because I'm not.
It was just before Christmas. That's one for the commute.
Yeah, that'll be on my next one. Then I'm back in tomorrow, I think. So I'll probably flash that on there. There'll be a nice little drive up with it. But yeah, I love the music ones, as you know. So let's get into the questions. We've got some set questions. I've got a quick fire round that I've not actually sent over the questions to you, so you won't know the answers to them ones. But it's just all quick fire stuff, nothing bad. But that's a midpoint one. So, what's your one word to describe Liverpool, Merseyside?
Okay, so I've been having to think about this, and I think, I mean, predictably, it's got to be Everton. To be honest, it's like that. That's my obviously, like, being from Birkenhead. My
Hmm.
whole thing for going over to Liverpool is to go for a bevy, or to go to the game, or to go clothes shopping. That's it. That's pretty much my experience in Liverpool. That's what it is to me. So I think Everton's the main thing. Definitely, it's sort of. Yeah, it's the thing that most synonymous with the city for me, and the whole reason I love the place.
So, with that as well, like it's very much Everton, and when you think of Everton and the city, and you talk about that context, it's community, isn't it? And you've said there, going for a bevy, going for the match, and then obviously you'd have to show matches where you all gather together and talk about it and have a laugh, and either really happy because we won, or we're just making fun of it because we lost. More often than not, but
Yeah, it is.
but it is a community.
I think that's always been the big thing about it for me. So it's because my dad was the first person who took me to the game. He
Hmm.
got me into it, so it was very much a family thing. And then later on, started going with me mates, and then you make more mates at the game, and then you get the
Yeah.
people who you sit around. Like, when you book, you've got that little community of people in your book, haven't you? Where it's all these
Hmm.
people who've sat together for ages, and they just talk, and they just one-liners, and they just talk gibberish, and they just have like quite deep conversations. You have it all in that little thing, and I think I was speaking to one of my lads the other day, and he was saying the one thing he doesn't really like about the new ground at the minute is it doesn't feel the same in terms of the people around us, because we don't know them. We've only had, what, 7 or 8 games, maybe something like that. So we've not got to know everyone. There's a couple of people you let on to and that, but by and large, it's still a lot of strangers around us. Whereas where we used to sit in the park end,
Hmm.
that was a big community of people. That's what it felt like. Everyone would come in, you'd say, all right, ask how they are, and just have little conversations throughout the game, before the game, maybe not after the game because we'd all get off. But yeah, but that feeling of community has always been sort of the biggest thing, and that was the thing I said when we leave Goodison, that would be the thing that I'd miss most, and it is. Because I've not in a sort of footballing term, I've not missed Goodison because we were terrible in our last season, and we've been a lot better at home this season.
Hmm.
In terms of the ground, weirdly, I've not missed it at all. I think I love the new place, and I've not missed Goodison, which I found weird. I thought I would, but I've not. But that sort of sense of belonging with the people there, I do miss that. I'm hoping to get it back, and I think we will, but that's what I miss.
I think a lot of people have moved on very quickly, and like they surprised themselves, haven't they? And like the new grounds, it's all shiny and new, and just everything's like sparkling when you go there, and it's brilliant. I love going there. Um, but I still go to Goodson as well, the women's as well. So I've got best of both worlds at the moment. It's sort of knock out that. When you say like, because I was quite lucky on my first game at the new grounds at the Hill Dickinson. The guy sat next to me because I was like, "Oh, all right," and all that. And we started talking because I'm quite introvert normally, so I won't be the first one to instigate it unless something's around her. Um, and we started talking, and every match we'll have a chat and all that. So we've kind of built that up already. But I know a lot of people are having different experience, and it's finding the feet, isn't it? And I think the last couple of games, particularly, there's been a bit more about that.
Mm.
I think people are starting to feel more comfortable around who they're at, and I think next year, especially, there'll be a lot of people who'll move around or gibber off, and because the novelty's gone, and we'll get the people who are waiting for the experience and get back into it, come back in, I think.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens, see what the club offer as well. If people want to move,
Mm.
see if there's
I
any
think
sort
that'd
of
be an
policy
idea, like,
where they say, like, all right, if you want to go somewhere else in the grounds, you can do that now.
yeah.
Will be interesting to see, though. Yeah, see how much drop off there's. I'm also a little bit worried about what they'll do with the prices, to be honest, because I think another
Mm.
price rise is probably coming. Because it was quite modest in the scheme of things, wasn't it? Moving into the new one, I thought it'd go up more than it did. Um, but yeah, I think we'll see bigger price rises, and that.
You think we've got away with it for years, though, to be fair, like,
Yeah,
to Everton, for years, they've put it off, haven't they? And, like,
yeah,
'cause I think they knew
yeah,
Goodson Park wasn't the place that it should be, and for years, you were sitting there thinking, "No, it's gonna go up, it's gonna go up," and they're like, "No, we're freezing it, we're freezing it." Like,
yeah. Yeah.
They have gave us a good deal, but I think the new group coming in, the Freegans, it's like they want that change and we need to get to that next level, and they've got to do these things, and we've had it a bit good on that sense for so long that it's and then you can go into the
Yeah,
conversations about prices and all that kinds of stuff and
it's getting the
fried
balance.
chicken.
It's getting the balance though, isn't it? Because, you look at us,
Yeah.
you go back to the 80s and especially the 90s where attendance has dropped off massively in the 90s. I remember
Mhm.
being at Southampton one of Howard Kendall's last game, and there was like 13,500 in there in Goodison, and it was weird. It's just a dead strange thing. And, at the time, I think Liverpool were probably getting about 35,000 or something like that, because attendances weren't great at the time anyway, started the Premier League. And you look at Everton as a club now. Liverpool could easily pack out Anfield twice over. Maybe not with the
Mhm.
fans, the type of fans they'd want, but they could do that. And I just don't think Everton just haven't got that pull, have they? So I think with the new owners, they've got to get the balance right of pricing the tickets to keep the people. I hate this term legacy fans, but basically that's what we are, aren't we?
Mhm.
We're
Yeah,
the ones
yeah.
who've always gone, we're the ones whose families have always gone and whose families always will if we can. It's about keeping them as well as maybe getting in, the more lucrative supporters, let's say the day trippers and that, because they're a part of the game, whether you like it or not. I I always find it odd the way people really slag off the number of day trippers of football grounds, because these same people will love to go to the San Siro, they'd love to go to Nou Camp,
Mhm.
and will do that. And in doing that, you're a day tripper yourself, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's
Yeah, yeah.
when the balance tips away from the people who are the important ones at the club, the ones who kept it going and will keep it going long after any bubble
Mhm.
bursts and that. And I think that's where you got to get the balance right. And I think again that comes down to it being a community, doesn't it? A community of people who are very like-minded in what they want and what they do, and they go the game. And that's going to be the tricky thing for me, I think, because we are at that crossroads where it can tip either way. And if they get it wrong, I don't know, it could go tits up. I don't know.
I don't mind the day trippers, like the outside. I mean, I hate the Liverpool ones, obviously, because they're just not real fans. Because that's always going to be the case for the argument. But Everton ones, I think, when I see like people from different cities, and um, I was talking to John Redfern, who used to torture Toffee on TikTok about it, and he's doing a podcast now with people, Evertonians outside of Liverpool. He's starting with because he wants to understand why just support Everton.
Hmm.
Like, why would you, coming from London or somewhere else, want to follow Everton, who are just grim half the time and just make your blood pressure so high? And it interests me, but we have, and it's not just us, I think Liverpool fans have a lot. Talking about the other day, someone about doing merchants in the club. And we have a lot of fans who are just very much, they want to see Everton fail to say, told you so, told you. And they thrive on it.
It's a weird thing, isn't it? And I think
Mm.
in terms of like, I suppose, getting people from outside the city, that's what you want in the city, don't you? You want it to be a vibrant, cosmopolitan city, not just full of Scousers. It's like, I mean, that would be,
And that's
be
what it,
crap, wouldn't it?
yeah.
It'd be like, if any city's just full of people who live there, the
Mhm.
atmosphere would be weird. Because people coming from outside the city, they bring something different, even if they're just there for a weekend. It all adds to it, doesn't it? And I think,
Definitely,
thinking of a football game, it doesn't necessarily have to be different. You obviously need your hardcore fans there who are going to generate atmosphere and that, but you've also got to have people just having a nice time there. Because let's face it, we
yeah.
don't have a nice time that often, do we?
It's a slog, isn't it, being an Evertonian? I sit there looking at my kids sometimes and like, what am I putting on you? Like, why have I done this to you? Why did my dad do this to me, and why am I putting it on you?
Yeah, well,
I'm quite lucky to
my dad goes with me and the
certain
kids, and
people
he's
like
always saying
football.
to them, I'm sorry about this. I'm sorry I'm putting you through this." But they will never any other way. They love it, really.
No, I know it as Tony Bellew says, it's character building. Like you can't be phased by anything if you're an Evertonian, and people can't call you non-committal to anything. So
Yeah,
it's
good.
it is that. So what was the you said you're from Birkenhead, you were raised in Birkenhead. What was Birkenhead like growing up and obviously over the water with Liverpool, and how was that for you?
It was great. So obviously, at the time, the city and Birkenhead as well was decimated with
Mhm.
unemployment. I think the unemployment rate in Birkenhead when I was a kid was getting on 30 odd percent, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Building Action famously made a TV program called T Street's Not Working, where no man on the street had a job. I don't think anyone on the street had a job. Everybody was unemployed. And that was basically where part of my family lived. So I grew up sort of in Clutton Village, which was by the north end of Birkenhead, basically. So my granddad used to work on the docks.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very much that part of Birkenhead was built up around the docks sort of years ago. And then as that sort of faded, as the docks sort of started being less busy, being used less,
Mm-hmm.
and then they did this later on. They did a similar clearance that they did in Liverpool, whereby they knocked down all those houses, all those terraced houses down the docks and moved people out and stuff like that. But it was a great place to grow up, and I was kind of sheltered from that as a kid. I was lucky. My parents weren't massively well off, but they did all right. My mum worked for BT, my dad was a postie. And just had a nice life there. It was lovely. So I just had
Mm-hmm.
like me local. I lived on the same road as my local school. All my mates lived off these roads. We'd go and play footy on the wreck up the road. Weirdly, where you could see Liverpool from the top of it. So on the top
Yeah.
of this hill, you could see like the cathedrals and stuff. So I guess that was always there as well. That connection. I think people sort of might not realise how close Birkenhead is to Liverpool. Um,
No,
there,
it is
there are
like okay.
plenty of points, like sort of where I live, where you can see Liverpool, and
Mm-hmm.
it feels like it's right there. There's just that river in the way, really, but it's dead close, and um, it's like I think I was watching one of the I think that might have been the last show you did, and you were talking about like people in Wirral and people in Manchester, and I think in the Birkenhead part of Wirral, I don't think there's much difference between us and Scousers. It's very, very similar. I think as you move further out, sort of more out to West Wirral and South Wirral, and that it does get a bit different then. Yeah, it was just, I just sort of always sort of being able to see Liverpool from where I was like playing football and that. Was the Everton thing. The growing up in Birkenhead was great, and it was a nice novelty to sort of go over to Liverpool. I
Yeah.
remember going through the tunnel as a kid in my uncle's Rover. What was it? It was an SD1 or something. Those old Jan Butty cars in the 70s, the Rover
Mm.
ones? He had
Yeah.
one of them, I believe one of them. I always remember going through the tunnel in his car and like just being fascinated, like coming out the other end and you're in Liverpool. Same if like, you go on a coach trip anywhere and you go through the tunnel. It was always a dead weird thing that you had to go through this tunnel and then you come out the other side and you're in Liverpool. So yeah, I don't know. Even though it was probably hard for a lot of people at the time, growing up in Birkenhead, certainly, adults trying to find work and stuff like that. I think I was very lucky in the fact that I had a good, like, really close knit family because I spent a lot of time sort of living at my nan's because both my mum and dad worked. I'd go down to my nan's, she'd take me to school, she'd bring me back, give me tea and stuff like that. So, and I also had like 5 aunties and uncles who lived there who were like sort of they would probably the youngest one was 4 years older than me, the oldest about 15 years older than me. So it was like a little disposable family that I had a load of brothers and sisters there who they pick on each other, but they never pick on me because I was the baby. And then I'd just go back home and I could just leave them and like have my own little time and then go back. It was great. It was great. It was a great place, great time to grow up as well, the 80s, I think.
I mean, I grew up in the 80s as well, and in Bootle, and I think Bootle's quite similar in terms of the struggles with Birkenhead, and there's a lot of comparisons you can make to like the pyramids to the Bootle strands, and
Yeah.
how it goes from one extreme to the other, and one, they try and put money and invest in it, and then next thing it just falls down again, and shops close and whatever. And I used to work in Bidston,
Yeah.
um, over in Birkenhead. I'd worked there for a couple of years, and yeah, I just love going over there. I mean, we have the banter, obviously, there's the walls and all that stuff. And I think I was on Son the other day about him. He was saying it's very unique because you'll have Everton and Liverpool fans slagging each other off. And then something will happen like Hillsborough, for example, and we'll all come together as one. And then we'll be slagging off people from Wirral and, all that stuff. And then someone from Manchester will come along and they'll slag off Liverpool and Wirral, and then Wirral and Birkenhead will come together and go to Manx.
Yeah.
And then someone from the south will come, and then Manchester and Liverpool will come together, and it'll be the northwest. And I love that kind of tribalism, but then it always like you come together in each little pact as it grows and grows in terms of the next person coming and saying, use a shit, use are horrible. And then it's like, well, actually, no, the South's the worst. And
Well,
then the
yeah.
man's doing it.
I mean, even at Everton, you get that in the park end and the street end.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, it goes down to every little nuance.
yeah. I mean, everyone
Well,
gives us park end as a hard time, but I
yeah.
don't know why. Best stand in the ground for me, though.
Do you know what? I was a Gladys Street for 20 years now enough, but I loved the park end. No obstructive views, no kinds of, it was chilled and relaxed. And, but yeah, I didn't get the whole kinds of, oh, Gladys Street against park end stuff. I never got it.
Yeah, no, I didn't really. I always enjoyed it though.
Yeah, it's banter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see if we get down to, I wonder if we can get down to the point where it's like row 5 against row 6. And how much
It goes that like that granular. Yeah, I could do.
yeah. I'm row 5, so I'm better than you because I'm closer to 1. But I think as well, you said, you know, about the struggles and how the Liverpool and Birkenhead and the Northwest especially was decimated in the 80s by Thatcher and all that kind of stuff. And I honestly believe, and I said this the other day, everyone in the Northwest should be forced to watch Boys from the Black Stuff and sat down and made to watch and see that. And I've had a couple of arguments recently about poverty chants with people and saying how it should be fit. And I don't think people fully understand why it's such a negative thing and why it's aimed at Liverpool. And Boys from the Black Stuff came out in the 80s and it was all around that struggle and diversity and that. And that's where that came from because we were open and speaking about it. No one else was that open to say, shit, every city's struggling, everyone's like really in a bad place. And then we had these chants about it, and it's kinds of now, oh, it's just it's not banter. It's punching down and, you know, going back to a time that was really bad where people struggled and suffered a lot.
Yeah, I can see why people would be like sort of saying, well, you know, does it offend you that much? And for me, it's not. I'm not offended
It's
by
not
it.
offense.
I don't find it offensive. It's the fact that while you're doing that, like people are getting away with this. So it's sort of it's that divide and conquer thing, isn't it? It's like while you're laughing at them, you're not really concentrating on the thing that matters. Now, at a football match, it's slightly different because I think a lot of times fans will just say whatever they need to piss off the opposition. And that's always been a thing. It's always been a fact. You know, you get some horrible chants from Evertonians as well. You know, we had it down at Chelsea the other week. You know, knock that in the head. It's the same thing. You know, Chelsea fans probably aren't offended by it. They just think it's fucking pathetic. So just stop it. There's no need to do it. It's not a nice thing.
A lot of Chelsea fans weren't probably bothered by it, but Chelsea Pride fans were. Yeah. And that's the group of people who struggle getting to the match and going to the match and being accepted. And I think I'm not offended by it. I couldn't, you know, it doesn't offend me. I'm not going home crying about it and, you know, losing sleep.
Yeah.
But when I hear it, I will sit there and say, it's wrong, it's bad. And the work I do, it's like I work with adults with learning disabilities and the amount of criticism that they've had over the years and songs sung about them and words used. And I work with a lot of Nigerian staff who, over the last year, I've had 3 Nigerian staff supporting people in the community, getting racially abused by people in the community. And people see that as like, because they're black and they're working with vulnerable adults, you're obviously stealing from them.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's all these little things. It's like, we're not, the more we sing about it and chant about it, it's accepting it as a normal.
Yeah.
And accepting it as a thing that's real when it's like, no, educate yourself on where that chant comes from, and it comes from Thatcher killing cities.
Yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it? And it's sort of like you're saying there about, you know, the staff you got working for you. It's this level of bigotry now that seems acceptable to people.
Yeah.
You know, I think in the last 2 or 3 years, we have regressed so much to the fact that people think it's okay to be openly racist. Like, go on the telly and be openly racist. You know, you've got like, I know Reform were a bit of a piss take party, but they've gained a lot of traction, and you've now got Reform members going on the telly, like come out with blatantly racist stuff. Like there's too many blacks in adverts. It's like, what the hell is that? How is that acceptable to come out and say? You know, it's not
Yeah, exactly.
representative. It doesn't matter. It's like, it's an advert. It's fine. You know, it's a mixed like country. This is a, you know, a mix of racist religions and everything, and that's how it should be. You shouldn't feel comfortable to come out and say stuff like that. And that's the most depressing thing for me. And to bring it back around to poverty chanting, that's sort of the thin end of the wedge, isn't it? That, because that's where it starts. You get that divide, you get that bigotry. You know, and even
Hmm.
if you're just doing it as a piss take, just think on and think of the wider context of it, really.
Yeah, it's I do find it interesting, like where we come from an area that actually criticises Tories, but now we have a lot of people who are actually more right wing than Tories and worse Tories. Literally, Tories are
Yeah.
leaving the Tory party to be because the Tories are not fucking strong enough in being bigots. So let's be a bigot. And people are like, oh, I agree with that now.
What's the
Like,
thing, isn't it? You look at like the Tory party clearly on its arse, and Reform is like sort of sweeping up where they left
mhm,
off.
yeah,
But you get a lot of these people who are like, oh yeah, we've got to get the Tories out. I'm going to vote for Reform. It's like, it's the same thing, but
it's
worse,
worse.
if
Way worse.
anything. And I just can't get my head around it. I don't understand why. And you get people who, you know, they're not from well-off backgrounds and that, and they
Mm,
hate the idea of socialism. And it's just like, you know, we're not going to go full communism. Don't worry about that. It's just like a sort of a more watered down version of that, where you just get like nice public services and things like that. And not everything's dead expensive. And, you know, and you get a nice standard of living. That's it. And people are like, oh, I can't have that. Where's the money coming from? That's not our job to find the money. The money's out there. The money is definitely out there. It's just funneled in the wrong directions completely.
and then you'll have that piece of shit Farage who'll stand there and say, I'm a man of the people,
God.
right? I'm for all working class. Wait a minute, you get paid 5 million a year, mate. You're living a life of comfy. Like Donald Trump, I'm a man of the people. I speak for you all. No, you don't. You don't have a clue.
You've literally
I
got a
just it
golden lift.
baffles me. And hopefully, this is again part of the reason why I'm doing these conversations with people, and hopefully, I would like to get some people who have that ideology on to see what they think. But yeah, it's not going to be
Yeah,
a very conversation, I think.
I think I think it is important as well to hear their side of it, and I don't think
Hmm.
we hear their side of it enough, because the people you do get, sort of, you know, when you see like interviews on TikTok and stuff like that, the people you do get speaking from the right, I'm not going to be snobby, say they're not the most articulate, and they come across as
Hmm.
a bit stupid, and we all have a laugh about that. Oh, look at that, right wingers are all
Yeah.
dickheads, the knobheads, the stupid reform voters are thick. And I think from the left point of view, I don't think we do it as much as we do. I think libs are worse for it. Don't punch down either in that regard. Don't say all reform voters are thick. Don't say all reform voters are racist. A lot of them are. A lot of them will be. But you
Hmm.
can't, once you start painting them all like that, you're doing the same kind of thing. You're being a bit bigoted, you're being a bit snooty, and you're not going to get to the root cause of it. You're never going to convince anyone to change their
Yeah.
mind by saying that they're thick, you know, just by saying everyone who voted Brexit is a racist knobhead. A
Mm.
lot of them would have been, but you can't paint everyone with that brush, because people do have their own reasons. And I think from the left's point of view, I think that's something we need to be better at, is not taking the moral high ground and saying, well, we're right and what we do, what we're asking for, that's the right thing. Because these people in their head will think what they're asking for is the right thing. Now, they might have bigoted views backing that up, but get to the bottom of that and find out what that is and why that is. And then try and talk them around from a level playing field, not a position where you think, well, I'm on the left, so I've obviously got the moral high ground there, and I'll talk down to you and shout down to you until you agree with me, because they never will. So I think getting those, you know, views of those people is important. Having tried to do it myself with people I know, it is difficult though, because you
Hmm.
do get angry at what they think, because it's so far removed from where you are, and it is so bigoted at times.
Yeah.
It's really hard to grasp. But I do think it is important to hear other people's views and not just just immediately think, well, you're a dickhead. You know, that's your thing. You're over there. Forget it.
Well, if you go to like American politics, and you look when Clinton was up against Trump, Hillary Clinton, and she was downright winning everything. She was going to win it. And then you had all the music artists come out and they were like, oh yeah, they're all idiots if you vote for Trump. And Trump then used that and was like, they're calling you an idiot. Like, what are you going to do about it? They're rich and famous, but don't look at my rich and famous. I'm more rich and famous than them. Don't look at that. Look what they're doing. They're talking down to you. And he used it. And that's what Farage is doing now.
Yeah,
And people need to, again, go and watch Boys in the Black stuff. Go and watch all them old 80s Dyer, Kes. Watch Kes
yeah, yeah.
and see where people come from.
People do need to educate themselves, because I've seen this now. There was a thing out last week, sort of seeing why people are voting, why the reform vote's going up, and a worrying number of people are saying like it's a protest vote, it's a reset. It won't be a reset. It's like whenever we're in this shit a few years ago. And it was like, well, do you know what? Maybe we need to get relegated. It's like, no, you don't need
No,
to get
no.
relegated. That's like year zero. You do not need that.
Yeah.
It will not do any good. It's like people are looking at this vote thinking, well, if we have this protest vote, well, it's a reset. It's like, and people thought that about Brexit as well. It was the same thing. It was a protest vote to say, look, we're not happy with the way things are. And it caused a massive shock, but nothing changed. Everything just got worse. Like, most people who didn't vote for it probably predicted it would. So I think that's a worry for me, that it's getting used to that sort of thing. And that's a narrative that needs to be sort of turned on its head, because it doesn't work like that.
Mm-hmm.
What you will get is what it is now, but worse. And, to get it back to anything decent from an even weaker position has got to be harder. So let's not do that. And that's where people, I think, need to maybe grow up a little bit and not
Mm-hmm.
just vote on the fact that they think this fella's quite funny because he drinks pints and he talks posh. And we've got that whole underlying thing in this country whereby people who are richer are better than us. And it's like, it just stems from all that, doesn't it? But yeah, I think people do need to probably educate themselves a bit more.
Yeah, I love the analogy of people saying, "Oh, Everton needs to get relegated to be better." Everton got relegated, we're finished.
Yeah, exactly. Would have been the
We
word.
were
Yeah,
finished.
absolutely. It would have been a disaster. We would never have
It would have been like
that.
50 years ago where they ended up in like the Conference League or whatever, and they just went down, down, down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that was just ridiculous argument. So, where did you feel first connected as a Merseyside? Where was you sitting? What's your early roots of seeing I'm a part of this, and Merseyside and Liverpool and Birkenhead being so unique and special in the country?
Hmm. That's a good question. Uh, I think one thing, I don't know if this is not my earliest thing, because obviously it didn't get out of like the area that much as a kid. But one thing I do like is the accent. Now my accent's different to yours, but people from outside the area wouldn't be able to tell any difference.
Yeah, yeah.
There's just slight nuances, isn't there? And I always like that, the fact that as the second people hear this accent, they know where you're from,
Mhm.
basically. And I know there's always the piss taken about, like, people from Whittle will say, oh yeah, I'm from Liverpool. And I've done that in the past myself, and I don't anymore. I used to do that because it was just a convenience thing. But it's like, now, where are you from? Birkenhead, where's that? It's by Liverpool. It's the closest sort of like touch point
Mhm.
that people will know. But I think the reason we do that is it's just easier, basically. But that's what I do like. I like the fact that you got this accent, that's where you're from. Like, if you're in a Lancashire accent, it's not that far removed from a Yorkshire accent, unless you're from those places where it's miles away. You could be from basically anywhere between here and the eastern side of the country. Northeast, you could be a Geordie, you could be a Mackem. It's a very
Mhm.
similar accent, but I think ours, it is unique. So, like, it probably goes from, in my experience, Birkenhead to Hale, and then it stops dead. So sort of, I think on the Whittle side, it peters out a bit more towards Chester. It does get softer, and it peters out. Unless
Yeah,
you've
they
got
get
all
a bit
those
more
lids now, put it on.
posh, don't they? As you
Yeah,
go
it
further
does. It
towards
does. It does
Wales.
fade out. it softens, and then you get to Chester, and it's like it's just not an accent anymore. It's Hollyoaks. The weird thing for me is Liverpool, the way it stops dead. So when I was at uni, there was a lad and a girl who were in our year, and I was mates with the lad and his girlfriend. He was from, I think she was from Hale, and I think he lived about 10 minutes away, and his accent was like pure Widnes, and she was like thick Scouse, and it was like there was no distance between them, and it's the way it just stops dead. It's mad. It's really, really odd, but I love it because it's that accent is the place, isn't it?
It's weird as well because it's like it's one accent and it's got about 50 million different variations to it.
Yeah,
Like everyone, and even every variation, you're still like Scouse, Scouse.
yeah.
And then you'll say like the joke of oh, you'll always see a Scouse on a holiday, but it's not even a joke, it's true. Anywhere you go in the world, you hear that accent.
You do every time, isn't it?
Like, yeah, yeah. And it's just like you just hear someone's like, oh, what you mean? And you're like, oh, fucking Scouse it. Or someone walking around and never know Liverpool kiss. And you're just like, there you go.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Well, Everton, Scouse, Liverpool could be anyone, anywhere in the world, to be fair.
I love listening back to you only see like old clips on social media and stuff of like interviews with Scousers from the 50s or the 60s, and the way the accent's different then as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love that old 50s, 60s Scouse accent. It's so
I think it's
different and so
proper.
distinct. It's ace, isn't it?
The proper like 50-year-old man in the 50s, like with the
Yeah,
enunciation of every word.
yeah,
Yeah, there was a guy I used to work with years ago, and he was a big blue as well, and he used to have that. I was just like, I just love speaking to him,
yeah.
just to hear the way he pronounces things. Now we just like, yeah, it's just undescribable, I think. But no, I think yeah, there's a lot of people who will come back on this and say, because I've said this is about Liverpool, but Liverpool is multicultural, and it is like different. The Scouse is a different accent from 5, 6 different countries, and it's all blends into one. And that's why I wanted people like yourself from Birkenhead. I've got people from Runcorn coming on, and they've all got shared kinds of. It's all around Liverpool and around the outer rims, and people who've got affiliations to the city. And I think that's important to get that, because it's not just, well, I was born under bloody Bertie and Bella, so I'm the only Scouser. People are as you identify as, and I'm from Bootle, technically. I'm not a Scouser, people will say,
Yeah.
but I am, because that's how I want to say I am, and I'm proud to say it. So it's interesting there, and the different sides and all that, I think. But so what was the time the city tested you? When did you feel like life got hard? And obviously only share what you want to share, but was there ever a time where you thought it was just all closing in, or, and it doesn't have to be the city particularly, but a time that's related to being in the city or around the city?
You're gonna have to cut this bit while I think, aren't you?
Okay.
Oh, it's been hard. Don't know, I've always.
I mean, besides Everton, which is every fucking year with
Yeah,
them.
I was gonna say there's so many bits of Everton I could say when it's been difficult. I don't know. I think generally all my experiences of the city have been positive because, like I say, the reason to go over there are generally for nice things. It's to go out for a bevy, it's to go shopping, it's to go to games. My experiences, by and large, are pretty positive. I remember years ago when I started going to gigs, it used to frustrate me that a lot of bands would swerve Liverpool because I don't think
Mhm.
it wasn't a great place for them to come for some reason. They'd go to Manchester,
You'd have to
and
go
that
to
was,
Manchester.
yeah, and that was that was the northwest bit done. It was close enough, so that really used to frustrate me. And then I think when the capital culture thing came in, I think the city really
Mhm.
took off after that for me. I don't know
Yeah.
what it felt like living in the city, but I think before that it probably was a lot more difficult to see bands and things like that. I mean, it's not. This is like first
No,
world problems.
I
This
agree
isn't
with.
anything that was particularly hard, but it was just something that stuck out that was like, it was very
I agree with that though. I think I always used to look when a band or if someone big has come on and be like looking through, oh, where are they playing in Liverpool? No, 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 no.
yeah,
Where's the closest to Liverpool they're going to be playing? Chester. Leeds. People playing Leeds before Liverpool.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, but it was always the thing.
Yeah, and then it's like one of the best concerts I've been to in the past few years. I went to the Eagles, and I had to go to Anfield to watch it, and I'm like, oh, I'm just so torn, but I want to see the Eagles. Yeah, and they were amazing. I can't like, oh yeah. But then you've got the Echo Arena now, or the M&S Arena, what it's called, and obviously Hill Dickinson's going. I can't wait till the first gig of Hill Dickinson.
Shame.
That echo, and we'd done a tour the other day with the Breakfast with Santa. We had a little tour, and the guy said, like, because it was empty, obviously, he said, we're all going to chant up the toffees of three, 3, 2, 1, up. And it echoed round the whole stadium. There was only about 30 of us there,
Yeah.
40, and it was just spine tingling, like goosebumps everywhere. And you're just like, oh my. Mark Higgins was there as well. Mark Higgins was on the tour with us.
Yeah.
So I was going to Mark Higgins and all that. And I was like, I'm bloody about Mark Higgins, one of the greatest generations of captains. You've got Higgins, Radcliffe, Watson,
Yeah.
you know, and we're just singing up the toffees and it's bouncing around the stadium and oh, it was special.
Yeah, it must have been quite surreal, that. But yeah,
So I can't wait for that concert in there.
yeah, it'd be a great one. I saw the Eagles at I think it was at the Echo with my dad. Yeah, which was really good. It was amazing. It was.
What's your favourite Eagles song besides Hotel California?
Ooh. Take It
Because I
Easy.
mean, that's my favourite one, but I've got to say, like, you've got to take out the obvious ones sometimes.
Yeah. Take It Easy is good.
Take It Easy.
Yeah.
I love the one by Joe Walsh, the one that he does on his own about, I can't remember the name, the title of it now. Life's Been Hard, Life's Been Good.
Yeah.
By Joe Walsh.
Yeah.
I just listen to that one over and over.
I did like the version of Boys of Summer that he did as well.
This pains me. This when we were at Anfield, I was with my son, and he was 9 or 10 at the time, and he wanted to go to concert with me, and he's really getting into his music, and I'm educating him the right way rather than my wife's Taylor Swift crap. I said, like, you know, there was 3 songs, particularly the Joe Walsh one, Life's Been Good, Hotel California, obviously, and Boys of Summer. I was really excited for. And we sat there waiting for the songs. He went, I need to go to the toilet. So I went, let's go to the toilet. So I took him down. And as he was in the toilet, they started playing Boys of Summer. And I missed it. And I was like,
gutted.
but then we came back and then he'd done Hotel California. And I've got a video of me and my son singing Hotel California together. And like the whole song and all that. And it's just, yeah, it was like I was really gutted. I was like ready to kill him. Like, why are you taking so long in the fucking toilet? How are you taking a full song out of this, mate? But I still got my Hotel California moment.
That's amazing. What's it like watching a gig there? Because I've got Foo Fighters next year, and I'm not sure about it. I'm like, oh.
Once you get past all the red crap and you sat down and everyone's filled up,
Yeah.
it's all right.
Yeah.
It's just like, I've been to Anfield 3 times in my life. One was after Hillsborough, mum and dad took me to Lake Flowers. One was for the Eagles, and one, the company I worked for, were sponsoring Magic Weekends when it was there. So I went to do some publicity and we got tickets for the rugby, and I'm not really into rugby, but my kids wanted to watch it. So we had to go and sit, and both times I've been sat in the cop ends, and I will say this, the speakers there are amazing,
Yeah.
funnily enough. So they've got good speakers.
That's all right for a gig, then. That's what you wanted.
Yeah. There's no real atmosphere or anything else there. It's just the speakers. But no, it was painful going in there, but it was enjoyable for the experience of, and I think for the Foo Fighters as well, it's going to be the same kinds of, they're not on, for me, the same level as the Eagles, but it's the same kinds of experiences, and that iconic American bands coming to our city. And
yeah, that's true.
yeah, it's, well, so let's do the quick fire round. So just first, whatever comes to your head, if you want to expand on it afterwards, that's fine, but just first answer. Obviously know the first one, blue or red?
Hot blue. Chip butty.
Chip butty, loads of butter on, slabbers on it.
No, just sauce. Yeah.
Plain butty with no butter?
Yeah, I don't really like butter on butties.
I love the melting butter.
Yeah.
Red cabbage, beetroot, or none or both?
Oh, it's usually beetroot, but ideally I'd have both.
Yeah, that's definitely both all the
Yeah.
time. Best crisp from the offie.
Oh, pork with cheese and onion, I think.
The staple. There's a question then. This was another argument I've had recently with working in Manchester. Is the offie a shop, or is the
Um,
offie an offie?
yeah, it's just the offie, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Manchester. I
I
work
mean,
in
you,
Manchester, and like literally down the roads, and they're like, "Why are you calling it the offie? Why don't you just call it a shop?" Because it's not a shop; it's an offie.
no, you go to the shop or the offie. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
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 it's not the same thing.
yeah. It's just it. And she can't get a red wrong. And I keep calling her out in every episode I've done so far. So again, lecture when I send this clip to you in work, you're wrong again. Home and Bargains or B&M?
Go home and bargain.
What do you call trainers?
Tradies.
Trainees is the staple. Pick one, lads, lad, or kidder.
Blah.
Say sound in the way you'd mean it most.
In a way, it'd mean it most.
Yeah,
Oh, to be that sound.
yeah. Because sound's got so many. And
Yeah.
again, the girl from work came to me and do have to listen to the first episode. She was like, "So does that mean when you message me back just saying sounds, that could mean you're either really all right with it or really pissed off?" Like, yeah,
Do you know what? When I listened to that episode, that's what I absolutely love, the dissection of the word sound in the context of like how we use it. Because I've never really thought about how much it gets used, but it gets used for everything, doesn't it? I'm
was
sound.
that the one with
Are
Pete?
you
You know,
sound?
Pete.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you throw that one out there, and I was just like, yeah, yeah, let's go on to that.
Oh, it's amazing.
That sound, you prick. The best insult that's technically not an insult.
I think I want to hear. Whopper's always a good one.
Whopper. Yeah, my brother-in-law said Whopper as well.
Yeah,
That was what one. You know, Whopper.
yeah.
Um, I'm going to throw this one back, and I did take this one out, but I love a question. Best your ma joke or
Oh,
your dad joke?
come back to me on that one.
Okay. Finish this sentence. I'm not asked, but
You're doing me head in.
that's the staple one. That's been a couple of times now. Best place or person to get proper Scouse from?
Oh, me nan. Everyone's nan, innit?
I I do my own Scouse, and my wife has actually turned around and said that my Scouse was better than her nan's.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
You've
And
made
my
it.
dad actually turned around at one point and said my Scouse was better than his. He
Wow.
admitted it once after he tried it,
Is it
and I was just like,
is it as
mic
good as
drop,
is it as good
life's
as
done.
Tony Evans' Scouse though? Tony Evans, do you know the cop-out journalist? Did you ever see that?
No, no,
Oh my God. So he likes to set himself up as the king of Scouse. He
he's a
thinks,
cop, you
yeah,
know.
he yeah. I think he called Scotty Road the epicenter of Scouse or something like that, and he's proper like that. That's his thing. But he put up a picture one time of like him making a pan of Scouse, and it was
Mm.
literally the stuff that you chuck in the bin. It had like peel in it and everything. It was the
Was
way.
it watery as well?
Yeah, oh yeah, dead water. It looked like the worst thing ever. And oh, I've never quite got over it. I think anyone who's seen it has never quite got over that picture.
I'm gonna have to Google that later then.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
try
my dad,
that Scouse though, mate.
it's the watery one. And whenever someone does it watery and it
No,
looks like the Mersey,
yeah,
just like
nah,
it's not. Stop it.
no.
Needs to be thick and oh yeah. Mine has I put black pudding in mine. I was telling someone the other day.
Black pudding
Black
in it.
pudding. Yeah. So if you crumple black pudding,
Yeah. So
it
that thickens
thickens
it.
the texture and gives it a bit of kick in the texture with a bit of curry powder as well.
I'm giving that a go.
Yeah. Bit of spice.
Definitely.
It's yeah. I've actually took mine into work in Manchester and turned a few monks into saying that's the best.
Yeah.
After explaining to me why it's not just Scouse, why it's not just stew. It's more than just stew.
Yeah.
Favorite Scouse.
terrible at these quick fire round ones, aren't I? I think the Scouse, it's got to be some Everton player on it. I'll go with Colin Hart. No, Joe Royal.
Joe Royal shout. Favorite park?
Birkenhead.
I love the fact about Birkenhead that it's what New York Central Park was based on, wasn't it?
Yeah, we got taught that from a very early age in school. It's like it's like the one good thing about Birkenhead, basically. And it's always like, yeah, they based their Central Park on it. I think the only thing it was based on was the fact of the idea of a public park. Because obviously, if you look at
Right.
Central Park, it's massive, and Birkenhead Park isn't it? So I think it was one of the first public parks in Britain as well. So I think that's
Yeah.
why it was taken over, that idea of having a public park as a public space. I think that's what it was based on.
Sounds.
Yeah, I've had some great times and some terrible times in Birkenhead Park. So getting pissed as a teenager in Birkenhead Park was it was dangerous and fun at the same time. You were never too far from getting your ale nicked from a bigger lad, basically. But it was always a good laugh.
Yeah, I've been to Birkenhead Park a few times over the years and never really had a bad experience there, to be fair. It's always been sound
It
and
is a nice
nice
park.
little area.
It is a nice park.
Yeah. It's the same as no other park, to be fair, where you get like knobheads and that, but never been bothered by them. Favorite Scouse building?
Ooh, can I say the new ground? I'll pick something out.
Yeah.
I'll pick something out.
Yeah, that's
No, do you know what? No, do you know what it is? The Anglican Cathedral.
the big one, not
Big
the,
one.
it's not the wigwam, it's the other one, isn't it?
Yeah, the big one.
Yeah, I
Love
love
that
going in
gaff.
there and just like when you go, when they have the events in there and all the, we went to one a few years ago and it was all the planets and the
Yeah, that was
sun and
great.
all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took kids who loved
Have you
it.
been at the top of it?
Not for years, but yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't took the kids up there actually, but yeah, I've done that a couple of times.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
When I was a support worker before I moved into management, it was a lot of people used to love doing it. So we used to always go and work and all that and doing that.
Yeah. Would recommend, definitely.
Have you ever been to Grafton?
No.
You never went to Grafton? Ah, you missed out there.
I think it is, yeah.
Many misspent nights there. Favorite Beatles song?
Hey Bulldog.
Hey Bulldog. That's a very left field answer, that one. That's yeah. Why help Hey Bulldog? I mean, I'm not no criticism against it, just it's not an obvious one, is it?
It's not one many people will pick. I remember hearing for the first time on Crash FM years ago, and just loved it because I've never like extensively listened to the Beatles. So like at the time, or I hadn't at the time anyway, and up until that point, I'd only sort of heard all the usual songs that you'd hear. So I hadn't like sort of dug into any albums at that point. And then after that one, I was thinking like, oh yeah, do you know what? I think I'll listen to some albums on the back of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Crash FM was great, wasn't it? Used to love
I
that.
don't remember Crash
Do you
FM.
remember? So it was like an independent music station. So I think it was around late 90s, and it became Juice FM in the early 2000s, I think, and then just went like a dead normal commercial radio station for about 2 or 3 years. It was like sort of our version of XFM in London. So just played all sorts of alternative songs. Robin Jackson and Bernie Connor used to DJ on there. It was great. It was so good.
I was always either Radio City or I used to listen to BBC Two, Radio 2 and all that a lot. I'm quite an old soul with music and that, so it was big Radio Merseyside and that. Used to listen to all them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's yeah. Favorite Scouse musician or band that's not the Beatles then?
Shaq. Mick Head. Shaq.
What's they sing?
So Mick Head was the Pale Fountains, then Shaq, then the Red Elastic Band. I don't know if you might not have heard of them then.
No, I've heard of the first one, Pale Fountains, maybe.
Yeah, so the Pale Fountains were like early 80s, and that's sort of probably pre-Echo and the Bunnymen just. So it was when that scene around Liverpool was building up. So you had, It was when like the Lotus Eaters were out. They had that sort of sound.
Yeah, yeah.
Then in the
Ah, sound.
nineties, he made Shaq with his brother John, and they're touring again. They've been touring again the last couple of years. But yeah, definitely go and listen to them. Brilliant.
Yeah, I'll definitely give that a listen to. What floor of the Crazy House was yours?
I never went to Crazy House, you know.
Didn't you go to Crazy
It
House?
was
So they
never
had
my
like,
thing, no.
I think I know what floor yours would probably be. So they'd have like a pop charts one, they'd have an indie alternative, and they're like heavy metal, um, heavy rock kind of thing.
Yeah, I'll be that second floor then, defo.
Yeah, I thought they're more indie, wasn't it? Yeah, I think that was mine was always the pop one because it was just when you're out on a night out. But then the indie one was always calling me.
Yeah, yeah. I think we basically used to go the Cavern, to be honest, when we went out. We'd always
All right, okay.
we'd always go there, and then sort of later on we'd go. Do you remember when Concert Square was sound? Like when it first opened, it was quite cool. So we used to like sort of hang around there as well.
Yeah, when when Walkabout first came out and it was actually all right.
Yeah, yeah, and you had like
Yeah, that's what we used.
you had the Camel Club round the corner, which was just above Revolution on Wood Street. Is it Wood Street? Revolution was on.
Yeah, I
Beyond there,
think so.
so we just thought,
They're mixed up with names of streets, to be fair. But the Camel Club, that's the is that when we go downstairs and it was like reggae and kinds of stuff?
no, you went upstairs above Revolution.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've been there, to be fair. There was another one that's by Consquare and used to go
Yeah,
downstairs
I
and
can't remember
very
what that one's called. I know the one you mean because you could see it, couldn't you, from like the street level? You could see into it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We were in there one Christmas, me and a couple of mates, and the whole cast of Hollyoaks and Brookside turns up and they're having a Christmas party in there. And we ended up just like tagging into it and just like it was when Elijah Toot was in Hollyoaks and she was getting big name. And I had such a crush on her. I was just like, oh my God. And I was only like that. I was only quite young in that, but I was just like, oh, look at that. Yeah. Pretend that we were all famous and that with the Hollyoaks cast. Radio City or Juice FM?
Cardiff City. Yeah.
Yeah. Favourite place for a night out, past or present then?
Oh, in town. Oh, I'll tell you where used to be Boston Magnet on Harbin Street. That,
When's that one?
yeah, that was good. I think it's where the Hot Water Comedy Club is now on Harbin Street. Put in there.
All right.
And very, very briefly, there was a Fab Cafe in Liverpool. Have you been to Fab Cafe in Manchester?
No, I've
Oh,
not really been
so
in Manchester.
it's basically an indie club, but it has all sorts of pop culture stuff on the wall, you know, like posters, and like it has cabinets full of Star Wars figures and stuff like that. So
Really?
it was just like everything.
That is my vibe, to be
Yeah.
fair.
And very briefly, they had one in Liverpool, which was just about 2 doors down from the Philharmonic pub. And it was only there very, very briefly, but it was great.
Literally going to have my lunch next week and that one in Manchester when I'm in work.
Yeah.
I'll book that in for me lunch next week. Go and check that out if it's got Star Wars.
Oh, it's great.
That's just the one.
It's brilliant.
So going back then, did you think the Yamaha joke?
I didn't.
You got any?
Couldn't. I flapped it big time.
Wow. My favourite was always your Dar sells Avon.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one when I got picked up by Sky Sports News, the Celtic player one.
I had a friend text me the other day, and he came up with a boss one. He said, Yamaha sits at the top of the stairs and pretends she's on the chase.
It's a good one as well, yeah.
I just loved it. I think they're just like classic Scouse joke. Any insults whenever you're back in the day was anyone would say anything to you, just the whole response will be Yamaha.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you need to say.
Move on.
Yeah.
Walk away.
Yeah. There's no coming back from it.
Go on.
There's no coming back from it, is there?
No, you've got no response to Yamaha. And that's the quick fires one, so you go back to the ones that you can prepared for. So the Scouse trait you carry, it's the part of Merseyside trait that you carry, the part that forged here and couldn't be forged anywhere else.
yeah, people might not think it from hearing me on podcasts, but I am quite good humoured, and I think that comes from being around here. And I think I work a lot down in London, and I think people sort of see me as approachable and quite good natured and quite good humoured and helpful as well. I think I like to help
Yeah,
people wherever I can. So I think it's probably that. I think it's very much sort of growing up around here in this part of the world. Like you said, in the 80s as well, whereby it was a hard time for a lot of people. And I think people did have to help each other out a lot. I think it just comes from that. I think, like I said before, living at my nan's house, my nan was one of these people who would just help anybody, and she seemed to know
yeah, yeah.
everybody. And yeah, I think that's definitely the trait that sort of my biggest trait from being around there. It's a selflessness, I think, and just wanting to help people.
When you said like people might not get it from the podcast, but I think you're very humorous on the
Oh,
podcast. To
right,
be fair, like
I don't know. I
I,
always think I come across as quite cynical.
yeah, but I mean, you're an Everton fan. You have to be cynical.
That's true.
That's part of the thing. But again, it's like I listen to a couple of Everton podcasts and channels, and I don't think there's many there that I don't really dislike on any of them, and probably the bias and because it is Everton. But even when you look at Liverpool fans, I know Liverpool fans who watch Liverpool ones, and they like that guy on that is just an arsehole. And I don't think we have many of them. We've got maybe a couple, but
Yeah, I
I
know.
think on the Blue Room you've got a lot of people who are involved in it, and there's a lot of different personalities and characteristics,
Yeah,
and you all just bounce off each other, and you are all in tune with each other so well, and I think that's why it is so popular. There's one guy, and I can never remember names of people. I'm really bad with names, but it's the Scottish guy, and I just love him.
Keith. Yeah,
Yeah,
funny.
the lines he comes out with, it's just, and you can tell as well, like you just don't know what he's going to say next, and your reactions to it just like are equally as funny. Listening
Yeah,
to your reactions,
yeah.
but
He's
yeah,
he's
no, I
great to
think
have on post match, especially.
yeah, post match when Everton have got beat, I just wait to hear what he's got to say, and you're just waiting for him to come into it and just like, and it's the last line when he does a sign off, and he's like, just remember, we're shit, but you still got a life and all this. I think he's boss, but I genuinely, there's not anyone on the whole channel that I wouldn't pick out and say, oh, they're a weak link, because you've just all got your own kinds of characteristics, and you've built that profile up from that. I think it's really,
That's so nice to hear. I appreciate that on this one.
and to be honest, I'm not a person who blows smoke up asses. I don't do it unless I generally think it. People know that. Like, my friends will say, like, if you're saying something, they know it's kind of, because otherwise I'd say, oh shit, I'm not fucking talking about it. But no, I do generally. I listen to it all the time. What's the seat you fill now? Where are you today? What are you proud of doing? What does a good day look like for you?
Um, I tell you one thing, and I do talk about this probably more than I should do on the podcast because it's not really relevant, but it comes up every now and then. I think the thing I'm most proud of is me kids' football that I've done for years. So managing my eldest lad's team for about best part of 10 years, built up a very successful team, not just in the fact that we did win quite a bit in the end, but we did start from like we were the reject team. And basically it was like the Mighty Ducks. It was all the kids who no one else wanted
I
on
was
their
going to say, we
team.
might have football.
Yeah, we got that team and eventually brought a few players on, brought more players in, and just built it up into a really good team. We won the double in our last season, won the cup 3 years on the bounce. So we just made a really successful team. But more than that, it was developing these lads personally and having a hand in that. And then when the team finished, so many nice comments off parents and like, cards off the lads
Yeah, yeah.
sort of saying, I really appreciate that you've helped me sort of develop as a person as well as a player. And that's something I'm really, really proud of. And I'm doing it again now, my youngest lad. So we're doing 17 and 18. I've got 2 years with them. And again, got a great set of lads, and it's seeing how you can influence them. So I think that because that's been such a big part of my life over the last sort of 10 10 years or so. I'm
Brilliant.
still filling that
Well,
seat at the minute for another 2 years. It's stressful, but it is great though. And it is nice to just, work with kids like that as well, and try and bring the best out of them where you can.
and that's it, because there's not a lot of things for kids nowadays, I think, with a lot of budget cuts and community centres closing down. And
Yeah. Uh,
you're growing up in the 80s, I did as well. We had a lot of real good community centres and clubs and youth groups and all that were around and you could access. And I
yeah.
think Birkenhead as well, there used to be a lot in Birkenhead, and they've all kind of just vanished over the years. And they're held together by people in the community who are giving back and doing it out of their own goodwill and, you know,
Yeah.
pushing themselves on.
And even if kids just want to play football now, to go and play on Astro, it's dead expensive. So unless you're part of a club like we are, you get subsidised, and it's sort of paid for by the subs. They can't just go down and like have a kick around now. It's getting more difficult to do that.
Yeah. No, that's brilliant. Um, what's your legacy? What's the one thing you want to leave behind? And what's the one thing you want to take away from the area?
Uh, I just want my kids to go up with the same values as me, and I think they definitely are. Um, so yeah, I think that's the one thing I sort of want to leave behind and want to take away from growing up here, because I think it does. I find it weird, we said before, like you've got to get other people's viewpoints and stuff, but I do find it weird when you get people from Birkenhead and from Liverpool who aren't left wing. I find that quite odd, because I sort of wonder, how can you not be? How have you seen the alternative and thought, yeah, that's the one for me? Um,
Yeah.
so I think for me, it's all sort of wrapped up in that, having those values about, you know, looking after other people, making sure people, have a standard of living that everyone deserves. I think, that's the thing for me. I think that's the thing I find hardest, that, none of us are ever very far away from being completely on our arses. It's a job loss away from everything changing. And if you haven't got that safety net in place, which I don't think people have, because I don't think people have got savings. I certainly haven't got savings. I haven't got the money to look after myself if I lose my job. It's like, you shouldn't need to. There should be a safety net in place. You put into more, you pay taxes, you pay national insurance, you put the money in, you should get it out when you need it. And it's just not there, is it, for people? So I think that's what we need moving forward. I've gone on a bit of a tangent there, but I think that's the
No,
sort of
that's fine.
thing I'd like that to be my legacy, that my kids feel the same and then their kids feel the same. And it sort of builds a better society around that. If you get more people who think the same, eventually we'll get it. We might not be here to see it, but eventually we might get it.
Well, we're in a society, aren't we, where it's everyone has a very short memory on a lot of stuff.
Mm.
It's like Labour came into power, and have they made mistakes? Yes. Have they done some things that are not great? Yes. Are they to blame for the country and the state that it's in? Absolutely not. You can't blame a party coming in less than a year after, what, 14 years of Boris Johnson's, David Cameron's, sitting there just skimming the milk.
Well, Osborne and Cameron get away with murder,
Yeah.
literal murder,
Y
basically in their case, because the amount of people austerity killed, um, and they never get spoken about. It always goes back to Thatcher, which rightly so, because she
Yeah, yeah.
kicked off this whole neoliberalism thing with Reagan in the States, and we've never been able to extract ourselves from that, or America since. That's where it kicked off. But I think if you look back to 2010, the opportunity that was there in 2010, 2011, when they could have borrowed money, they could have built infrastructure, they could have made the NHS better, railways better, everything better. And they didn't. They cut. And like you say, they skimmed off, because for all those cuts that were made, does anyone know where the money went? It was like, you know,
No,
it's just been,
it went to their back
it's
pockets for
been
the
siphoned off, hasn't it? So,
privilege.
yeah. Um,
Yeah, I do sit there and I watch all these stuff, and I'm not a fan of Keir Starmer, to be fair,
it's awful.
but I don't blame him for the way the state of the country. And then it's like, oh, he was gonna take away the heating thing. Well, yeah, they put a proposal in, everyone complained, and they went back and changed it. Isn't that positive?
Yeah.
Rather than, well, we're not listening to you. But yeah, it's very, it does interest me in that thought process where it's like, it's all this, it's all that. Well, let's look at the Thatcher love childs that have been there before
Yeah. Exactly.
who carried that on.
Yeah.
Um, Boris Johnson, I hate when people told me that from Liverpool and they voted Boris Johnson, and I know a few people,
Mind blowing.
and I'm like, he actually said this city's a disgrace
Mm.
and wanted to kill her. And then he comes into the city, he's like, oh, yeah, 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 with a fluffy bloody hair and, you know,
That,
go away.
I think going back to like Farage as well, before it just becomes a personality thing now. That like Nigel Farage's personality fucking stinks to me. I can't see a
Same.
positive thing, but people will see him as, do you know what? He looks like he's a bit of a quirky guy. He plays this man of the people thing where he'll go to a pub and have a pint. Not the sort of pub that would welcome me or you in, by the way. It's like,
Well, I'd want to go to be fair.
exactly. Um, but it does become about that personality, doesn't it? And he's something different. It was the same with Johnson. It was like he was, yeah, he was something different, and people sort of thought, oh well, I'll tell you what, we'll give that a go. And it's not about that. You got to look deeper than that.
I think anyone who is in politics should be banned from any form of light entertainment television.
Yes.
So Boris Johnson on Have I Got News for You, and they rip him on it, to be fair to them, because you know Ian Hislop hates Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
Um, but then you have Farage going on I'm a celeb, and everyone's like, I've never really saw him before, but isn't he funny?
Yeah. Exactly.
No,
Exactly.
he's not funny. He's playing a goofball to entertain you and make you think what he's saying. And there was that girl on it, that the black lady, I can't remember her name, and she said, "Oh, I don't like you because you're racist." Well, who said I'm racist? Well, the internet. Well, when have you ever seen me be racist? Well, you're on the tune that you're not being racist, but what you're doing is you're encouraging it and you're promoting it and you're influencing people to be racist without actually being racist. And
Yeah.
that's what you're not saying. But
Well, this is the thing,
people are
isn't
on
it?
to you.
That's how it works, isn't it? These people don't incriminate themselves; they get everyone else to do it for them. So, like you say, they're creating a climate now where, do you know what? It's okay to say you don't like black people. You can just say it. There'll be no comeback. And that's the create, without actually saying it themselves, they're creating that environment where people who've got those bigoted feelings feel comfortable saying it. And that's where it all goes downhill. And they can wash their hands of it. Well, I never said that. It was them. But they've created the situation whereby people feel comfortable saying that.
Yeah, it's a different world where politicians can go on telly and just be, "Well, look at me, I'm a person like you, I do." And the one that really gets me is when he goes to pubs and goes, "This is a great pub because I can smoke inside here." And I'm like, "That's not a good thing." The reasons pubs are closing down is not because the smoking ban, it's because people stop going to them. If you can't go to a pub and enjoy a night out and a time with your friends without having to go and have a smoke or go outside for a smoke, it's more about you than the bands.
Yeah, and I think one of the big reasons is people haven't got the money to. It's like it's that simple, isn't it? Yeah, you're spending like 60, 70% of your income on just living.
Mhm.
It's like,
And a lot of people growing up now are like, "I don't wanna drink.
yeah, I
I don't
found that.
want to
Yeah,
go out and get we probably when you were growing up same as me, it was like, it was cool to go out and get paralysed and then go home at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
yeah, and deal with it the next
You're
day.
like, "What are you doing over the weekends?" "I got smashed at
Yeah,
the"
exactly. Yeah,
yeah, can't remember it. Whereas now it's like, "What you do at the weekends?" "Well, I've done this and I've done that," and
yeah,
there's
it's
more
true that
things going
actually.
on.
Yeah, it is true.
But yeah, I think that is like the main thing that the people who just use light entertainment television to publicise themselves in a light-hearted way, and
Yeah.
Johnson goes on and roughs his hair up and like, "Oh yeah, I didn't have time because I'm just so eccentric." No, you're not eccentric, you're a tit. Go away. Well, that's my rant about it
No,
again. I
I
think,
completely agree.
well, it's
Completely agree.
um, and then just to finish, what's your favourite Scouse word or phrase?
I'm bringing it full circle now. It's got to be sound. I mean, I don't want to go over old ground that you've covered before, but for me,
No, that's
it's like,
everyone's personal thing, isn't it?
yeah, it's very much a word that's like used in a lot of context around there. You can use it. You can use it for everything. Do you know what? I also like trainees as well.
Trainees.
Trainees, because that's very specific to this area as well. And trainees are a big part of my life from when I was a kid. I had so many pairs of trainees and just like loved buying Adidas and Puma and Nike and everything. See, I'll tell you what, I'll go with trainees because no one else calls them that. Like you've got a lot of words, um, like trainers, trabs, webs. There's lots,
Yeah, yeah.
creps, things like that. There's like all around the country, there's different words for them, but it's trainees round there.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things that I don't get, and I probably get criticised for this now, when they say 110s and all that, it's like it's not.
No,
That's not my generation of terminology for them. And people, people jump on it great, and people my age to say it, but I just don't. It's one of them that I just don't get. It's like
110.
shrubs or trainees.
Yeah, yeah, pass me by that one. Yeah, trainees for me.
Yeah, yeah. 110. What is it? 110s or 120? I don't know. It's trainees
Yeah.
because that's what it is. It's but no, yeah. I think either one of them words as well. Sounds on trainees. Sounds again, as we said. It's such a. It's not even a word. It's a meaning, isn't it?
Yeah.
And a feeling. It's because it's got that different connotations to it, and yeah, there's just so many that you could go through. I love the Scouse language and the usage of it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that you don't want it to die out. Like Estuary English has taken over, um,
Mm,
and you just that and just to go to like sort of England as a whole, that's my favorite thing about the country. The amount of accents you get, and it's so diverse from like the southwest to the northeast. There's so many different accents, which I don't know if you get in every other country. I don't know if there's so many different sorts of accents and dialects, but you don't want that to die out.
no, no, not
You
at all.
think as people all consume the same sort of media and that, and how like an SG English accent can fan out and take over. I remember years ago, one of my kids watching Peppa Pig and said grass. And I was like, no, 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 no. Don't say grass or castle. It's grass and castle. But they pick up on that. And I just don't want like the accent to ever get diluted too much to the point where it's unrecognizable. Like we said, it's already changed from like the 50s and 60s. It's a
Yeah, yeah.
totally different accent now. You just don't want it to ever fizzle out because there's so much that's good about it.
Do you ever watch? I'm a big fan of like old comedians and Dave Allen,
Yeah.
and he done a TV show years ago, and he goes around the country looking for eccentric people. And he was looking at the accents, and he goes around talking about the different areas and how they've shaped them, and all that kind of stuff. And it's interesting watching all that when you look back at the 70s and 60s and that, and seeing like thinking how if that happened today, how different it would be, and how more stories you're going to have, and that more eccentricity of it.
Yeah.
Here's one for you, a quick one. One accent to promote and one accent to get rid of in England.
Get rid of. Okay. Promote. I'm gonna say Brummies get a rough deal because they get.
That would be my one to get rid of. You.
Well, they,
Yeah, I can't stand the Brummie accent. I don't mind it when it's like there's some parts of it, but then when it's I've had so many bad experiences going to football matches in Birmingham.
they're all head cases. Like, don't get me wrong.
And then with the police, to be fair, and the stewards, they're horrible. The away fans. And I don't know, it was just always when you've got a policeman stand going, give me your ticket, give me your ticket, give me it. Like, oh, it just grates on you. But, but okay, you can pro Brummies.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna go for a rehabilitation of the Brummie accent.
Okay.
Because it's not all bad. I know what you mean, and like aggressive Brummie is horrible
Yeah.
because of like I've been in situations myself and people at uni who were Brummies as well. They were a bit mad too. I think there's something about being landlocked that sends you nuts. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, you need that, see, yeah.
yeah. So I think I think I'd like a rehabilitation of the Brummie accent because I think it's all right and it's so distinctive. I'd hate it to ever disappear because it is very, very
Mm.
distinctive, isn't it? Uh, Once to get rid of, yeah, received pronunciation, extra English, it's nothing. Get rid of it. Crap.
Fair play, let's go with that, yeah. It's, yeah. Yeah, Brummies, yeah, I'll give you that one. That's, they need to they need to reclaim it
Yeah, yeah, not,
and take away the
yeah, and not just Peaky Blinders. No way, come on.
yeah, more Joe Lycett's and, Alison Hammond's,
Yes, yes, there you go. Exactly.
where I love the little phrase where they call people Babs.
Yeah,
Right, Babs. That is one that I do like, to be fair.
yeah. Alison Hammond,
But, yeah.
good shout there. Yeah,
Yeah, Joe Lycett, yeah, he's brilliant.
yeah,
I
he's
think
class.
and he promotes his city really well, in terms of what he does and going out and just always promoting and being a part of it.
Yeah, definitely.
And we have Ringo Starr who sits here and says it's a shithole, but there you go.
Oh, there's nothing worse than a professional scouser, is there?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just like I prefer London nowadays. That's where I'd rather be, in London. Well, fuck off to London then, Thomas. Go away. Um, Anything else you want to put out there or mention?
And really, no, just been a pleasure. This really enjoyed it.
Yeah, glad.
Meandering through football and politics, talking about trainees and music. What else is there? Do you know what I mean?
That's Liverpool culture and Merseyside culture, isn't it? Trainees,
It is.
football,
Do you know what?
music.
Just on that then to finish as well. I think it is a weird thing, isn't it? Where there is definitely an obsession with trainees around this part of the world, and it was definitely something that was massive to me as a kid. And
Hmm.
growing up, it was like I had to have like a good pair of Adidas. Always had to have a good pair of, and I was very spoiled in that regard. Um, I would get a lot of shoes as a kid. Like I had loads.
Do you remember Knicks?
Yes. Now, yeah,
And no one had Knicks because you weren't allowed them.
yeah. If anyone did, they'd get the piss ripped out of them. Which, thinking back, wasn't very nice, really. But it was,
That sign of the times, wasn't it?
yeah,
It's
it was.
Knicks and I think Felia got to one point where they were like discredited.
Yeah, they sort of came in and then were just accepted. But yeah, they seemed a bit jarg at first. There's another one, jarg.
Because now what's the one that they're doing now? Lonsdale's is the one nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, they're Knicks of this generation, aren't they?
Yeah.
Sports Direct Lonsdale.
No, I've got about 30 pairs of trainers in me office. My wife hates me going out and buying new trainers. My current ones are on clouds that I'm really pushing on.
Comfy as, yeah.
Yeah, they are. They're just so good. And yeah, especially going to match and you're standing so long and walking around so much. They
Yeah,
just do. They need to sponsor Premier League football grounds.
yeah, you do need good footwear for that walk, definitely.
Yeah. And when you're standing there booing at every player who comes on the pitch. Um, that's great. Thanks, Les. I really appreciate you coming on. Again, and I'm saying this every week, I've had a couple of technical difficulties, so I apologise for that for you. And I'm going to tag them. Virgin Media, you shit, mate. Sort your fucking internet out because it's really getting on my nerves now. I pay you about £100 a month and I can't get a signal in my own house.
Ideal.
That I'm having to go to different networks and tethering phones. So I'm going to tag Virgin Media in this and do a little clip where I call them out.
Pretty good,
Um,
definitely.
So that's another episode of The Seat We Fill. Thanks for joining us. If something you heard stays with you, that's the point that we want to kind of make. And thanks everyone for giving us your time. It really matters. Catch you all soon.